Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is I Love You, Say It Back. It's a podcast. I'm your host, Vic D. Mother's Day Thursday? Let's go. As I Love You, Say It Back. It's a podcast. Happy Thursday and happy Mother's Day. We're heading into Mother's Day weekend, so we will be talking a little bit of Mother's Day today. Glad you're with us. I'm your host, Vic D, and I tell you something. I'm glad you're with us today. There is a lot that we need to get into. We're going to be covering today. I'm going to be talking, of course, Mother's Day. Got a few things to touch on there. I just came earlier today from doing my first ever sourdough baking class. The topic that we touched on in the past. So I was invited to do a sourdough baking class. I'll tell you how that went because, just stick around for that. What else do we got here? Got your fun facts here in case you didn't know. I did a wedding in Kingsburg. Surprised about a couple things. Never been to Kingsburg, so we'll talk about that. If you're like me, one of the biggest things, and it feels like one of the biggest mysteries, is the MET Gala. Like, does anyone know what the hell this is? Does it, other than like people dressing up weird, people dressing up extremely fancy, really nice, does anyone know what the hell it's all about? We'll talk about that. So, interestingly enough, this is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this now. It is Thursday. It's not like the beginning of the week. By now, you've seen that it's Teacher Appreciation Week. But not only is it Teacher Appreciation Week, it's also Nurses Appreciation Week. And I feel like there's definitely, those are two professions that could definitely have their own. Like, why are they together? We'll talk about that. What else? I know we got another one here. Oh, of course. We got Wednesday Wisdom. This question is a fascinating one. And don't get me wrong. Look, I'm going to be saying that about a lot of these, but because you guys asked some good ones. There's a lot of things that will make you think about traditional or conventional wisdom as far as like, hey, I feel like there's a lot of things that we say in life just because do you even think about what you're saying? Or you just heard it like, I'll give you an example. This isn't one of them. Like, treat others the way you want to be treated. Of course, that one's easy because we know it. But like, have you ever thought about certain things and certain quotes and sayings? We'll talk about, is honesty the best policy? Because we always say that, right? Honesty is the best policy. Well, is it? We'll talk about that. Stick around. Wednesday Wisdom. It's going to be really good. But my nose is itchy. Oh my goodness. I still got, you probably can't tell, but I still got like did the sourdough baking class. I'm telling you, I was just there a couple hours ago. I still have like sourdough powder, baking dough, whatever. This just shows you the knowledge. I don't even know the names of these things. It's not baking powder. It's flour. I still got it all over my hands. You know what else I noticed is that nobody else's hands look like mine. Mine's were all sticky. Mine had flour. And I was like, there's got to be something that I'm doing wrong. So I'll give you a whole recap on that. It was fantastic. Big shout out, Low-Cal Farm to Table. We'll get into all that. But before we get into the actual show, please, I'll remind you, like, subscribe. If you listen on Spotify or Apple or iHeart or wherever it is that you listen to the podcast, please subscribe. It makes a big difference, helps us out a lot, and keeps you up to date with all the new episodes and things that we're going to be doing on the podcast. And on YouTube, please subscribe at ILYSayItBackPod. We are everywhere on social media. Again, at ILYSayItBackPod is the podcast. I am at Vic D Radio. We met some people today at the baking class and at the sourdough baking class. And some of them had listened to the podcast. So big shout out to them. If you're listening again, I love you. Say it back. And if you're listening because you heard that there was a podcast there and I told you that I would be talking about it, welcome aboard. I always say, I was talking to one of the husbands there. There's only me and one other guy in the class. Everyone else was women. And then one of the ladies' husbands pulled up, and bro was golfing. And I was just like his wife brought it up. She's like, yeah, my husband's golfing while I'm out here doing this. And I was like, man, where's he go? I was like, I was intrigued by the whole conversation. I was like, well, what does he shoot? What's his handicap? I like to like measure up. If you tell me that your boyfriend or your husband plays golf, I want to see how I compare to him. And turns out this guy was pretty good. So respect, fella. But yeah, so like, subscribe, follow us. Lots of content coming your way. So let's get into the show. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, mainly ladies in this particular case, especially mothers. It is, this is our Mother's Day episode. So Mother's Day, obviously this is dropping on Thursday, but Mother's Day is going to be coming up here on Sunday. So I hope you guys, fellas, if you're listening, I hope you already got your gifts. I hope you already got all that stuff ready to go. And if you don't, you got a couple days to figure it out. So this is your, like in the NFL, the 2-minute warning. This is your 2-minute warning, but maybe more so close to like 2 to 3 day warning. Get whatever you got to get done. All right. And lady, you know what I love about like mothers and social media? And I know everybody thinks social media is the devil. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of negativity and negative things that come from it. But it's also created like a society and a place where moms have honest conversations about being moms, right? There's a lot of women who talk about like postpartum depression. There's, women who talk about, the realities of like how motherhood can be really ugly in the sense of like, sometimes you don't take care of yourself. You just, I'm not going to take a shower. I'm just going to go to sleep. But they make it like a comedy thing. It's like, hey, you go through it. We used to not talk about this. Oh, you have to be this and you have to be pretend to be perfect. It's just like, ain't nobody perfect. There ain't no perfect mom. There ain't no perfect dads. There ain't no perfect parents. There ain't no perfect kids. And motherhood has been like the what we call like consider like the ugly side of it has become the most relatable part of being a mom. And that's what I love about it. And one of the things that I'm referring to is I love that we are now in a place where moms, you talk about like, I would say 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, maybe even longer, and probably was even worse. You'd ask mom like, hey, what do you want to be? No, I just want to be with my kids. For Mother's Day, I want to be surrounded by, it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm a mom every single day. The one day that I want to be able to relax and chill and not have to be or deal with as many as those responsibilities, because you can never turn off being a mom. It's just give me a day to chill. Like the best gift is giving me a day to not necessarily deal with the responsibilities of being a mom. Hey, cooking, no. Cleaning up, no. All the things that you do every single day that you are fantastic at, it's okay to want. And I love that women are now like, oh, no, get me away from my kids. Get me a hotel room. I'm turning up the AC or turning it down to 67 degrees. My husband is going to take them. I'm dropping him off with the grandkid or the grandparents, whatever. I just want a day to myself to just silence. I know my sister talks about this, and one of the funniest things, she's like, yeah, sometimes it's nice to be around adults because I feel like I'm just talking to my kids. Just imagine I'm having conversations with in her case, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and one more on the way. Just all day, just hanging out. And she's always with the boys. So like, it's got to feel pretty nice to just be able to have a normal conversation with like, it's just nice to not talk about Bleepy and Bluey and looking at these toys and Legos and Minecraft and all that. So I love that you now feel comfortable. We're saying like, yeah, I just want a day off. Like, get me away from these damn kids. That's what I want for Mother's Day. So, and I want to say this too. So, I mean, I'm glad that we're in a place where we can talk about that and share that now. But moms are incredible. Moms are incredible. So I want to say happy Mother's Day to all moms out there. I know sometimes, and they're cliche, and I don't do cliche shit. I don't like doing it. I think it's corny. I think it's cheesy. I think it's easy. But I also think that in certain cases, there's a lot of truth to what is said. And sometimes moms kick ass, but they also don't feel like they kick ass. They don't feel recognized, and they don't ask to be recognized. They're going to do it regardless whether you are clapping for them or not. But I think sometimes it is nice to be reminded, like, hey, you're kicking ass. Hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, your family loves you. Your kids, who the hell knows what they would be without you. And sometimes I just think it's a nice little reminder that all the things that you take them to sports, you're cooking their meals, you're getting them ready, you're washing their clothes, you're cleaning the house, you're doing all these things that sometimes is so routine and so normal that it feels like it goes unappreciated. But I'm here to tell you and remind you that it's absolutely not. And I just hope that whatever it is that you're wishing for on this Mother's Day, or you want to relax, you want to chill, whatever it is. Hell, maybe you do want your kids. Maybe you do want to just hang out. Like, hey, what if I just go out with them? I do want to be around my kids, but I just don't want the responsibility. I'm not cleaning. I'm not cooking. How about y'all go ahead and help me do that, But happy Mother's Day. We love you. We appreciate you. And I hope that today you're sitting back, chilling, watching TV, watching Netflix, turn the AC down and bundle yourself up, because that's the best way to enjoy something. Turn the AC all the way down. Ain't nobody gonna tell you nothing. Watch your Netflix and bundle up. Make it too cold in the house and be like, ooh. Everybody, that's the best sleep too, they say. But yeah, happy Mother's Day. You're loved, you're appreciated, and you're recognized, especially right here on the show. Okay, I want to talk about this. First of all, big shout out to Local Farm to Table and El Molino for putting on this sourdough baking class. Do you remember this is a while ago, maybe a couple months ago, certainly a few episodes ago, I talked about how I was like, wait. It's like I was on social media and I was like, why is everybody all of a sudden doing sourdough? Why is everybody all of a sudden cooking their own bread or baking their own bread? Like, when did everybody start doing their own sourdough? Like, where did this trend kick off? And there's people who started doing it, because of that. I had conversations with people. They're like, Vic, I started trying it and it was fun. And now I'm like, really enjoying the process of making this whole thing and all that. So it dates back to like COVID. I guess people started trying it more there. And don't get me wrong, I am as big of a bread fan. I love bread. And it looks delicious. And can you imagine just like, we all know what fresh bread smells like. I can't wait to pop this in the oven and make this thing. And I can't wait for it. But so because of that, we did the topic. We were talking about like all of a sudden everybody's doing sourdough baking classes. Local invited me. Heather invited me out there to do a sourdough baking class. There's a video that's going to be coming out. I got a bunch of videos, so I'm going to just have to put them together. But let me just say this about the sourdough baking. So just because there's a lot of people who started to do it, or at least compared to, 5-6 years ago, doesn't mean that sourdough baking is suddenly like it's an easy thing. Holy shit. I was unaware of the levels to baking your own sourdough bread. Folks, this is as complicated as it really, in the States, like as complicated as you want it to be. It truly is. You can be as simple as you want. We had a great conversation with Josh from M Special. He's like, beer could be as complicated or as simple as you can make it. And it's funny that they use a lot of the same ingredients. Now that I think about it, that's crazy. That just happened right here, right now. That was not planned. But yeah, you can make beer as simple and crappy as you want. Or if you want to put layers and time and ingredients and play with it and time and to let it ferment and do all these things, all this lingo that I don't fully understand and I'm not going to pretend to. It's layered. Everything from the type of dough that you use to how much flour, to how much salt, to what kind of salt, to how you stretch it out, to how you cut it. There's all these proper names for it that I can't remember right now off the top of my head, even though we just did the class 3 hours ago. It's incredible. And I have a newfound respect. This is me going back to all of a sudden I feel like there was a lot of people who did it, but that doesn't mean that it was easy. You guys are crushing it. And you know what else? A couple things that I noticed on my personal side, and you'll see this from the videos that I put out. I looked around and I was looking at my little area where I was working and doing this whole thing. It was filthy. There was dough on my cell phone, on my Carmex, there was powder everywhere. And I was like, well, she did say it was going to be really messy, which it was. But then I looked around at everybody else's and I was like, why isn't everybody else super messy? Why is it only my area that looks like there was a damn child here who was just throwing shit up in the air? So that's one. Two, have you ever done the situation have you ever done the thing where you pretend to know what people are talking about? You're like, yeah, of course. Folks, keep this between you and me. This is another segment called Between You and Me. She was talking about ingredients and things like that. Folks, she's talking about like grams. She's like, well, we're going to put in just a few grams of this and a couple ounces of this. I don't know what the hell, how much a gram or an ounce or what. I don't know any of that stuff. Now, fortunately for me and people like me, ChatGPT, Google's available. Fantastic. Not worried about it. I can pretend. But if she had stopped and be like, all right, show me the 4 ounces that you put in there, I would have been like, yeah, I'm just going to walk out. This is point. I'm not going to embarrass myself. But I feel so insecure when people talk about things like it's common knowledge, and I'm just sitting there like, ooh, ounces, not great. Ounces. You mean 16 grams of that? No problem. Luckily, everything is pre-measured. So it made it super easy. They did a fantastic job. She came around. She was helping everybody, stretching out the dough. And then not only do you stretch it once and you put it into a perfect little ball, but then you got to let it rest for like 30 minutes. And then you got to go back to it and stretch it out again. It's crazy. The details are incredible. I highly suggest. I think they have another class coming up. They got some more classes coming up. So go do them. Sign up for them. They do fill up fast. And yeah, go check them out. Local Farm to Table on their website or their Instagram. Just hit them up. Lots of great information on there. But I can't wait to throw that thing in the oven and see what the final results are of it, because I'll be honest with you, I already know mine's not going to be very pretty, but hell, what is that I make? Let's get into your fun facts. You're in case you didn't know. I got 3 of them for you. Fun facts. You're in case you didn't know. This one blew my mind. In case you didn't know. In case you didn't know, sharks are older than trees. Well, I thought I had that one written down. Some of them are... Oh, here we go. I did have it written down. Silly. All right, let's start again. I'm not going to edit this. This is all staying in too, by the way. In case you didn't know, sharks are older than trees. That blew my mind, but listen to this. Sharks have existed for over 400 million years, while the earliest trees appeared around 300 million years ago. In case you didn't know. In case you didn't know, there's a basketball court at the top of the U.S. Supreme Court building, and its nickname, the highest court in the land. And finally tonight, in case you didn't know, this is kind of one of these things that I'm kind of now learning about, but I think it's I don't think this is appropriate to say, but it's kind of electric. R.I.P. Pope died. Now there's going to be a new selection for a pope, and that whole process has been really fascinating. We'll talk about a couple of details, but black smoke means that there hasn't been a new pope elected, but when there's white smoke, that means that the new pope is elected. I think that's absolutely electric. There's just a freaking like video camera on this, just waiting for the smoke to come out, and that's cinema, baby. In case you didn't know, those are your fun facts. You're in case you didn't know, but just to touch up on that. Today, black smoke emerged from the Sistine Chapel chimney, meaning that no pope has been elected yet. Listen to this. 2/3 majority is required to elect a new pope to succeed the late Pope Francis. Cardinals entered the conclave earlier that day, beginning the secretive process to select a new spiritual leader for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Voting will resume again tomorrow morning with up to 4 ballots per day. If no pope is chosen after 3 days, the cardinals will pause for a day of prayer. So we're just going to have to keep our eyes on this thing. There has to be like a time where they say like, hey, at 3 p.m. we'll announce either black smoke or white smoke. Because I want to be there when the white smoke pops out. I've never been so invested. This is amazing. Black smoke, absolute cinema. Dun, 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 dun. Should do like a music to it. I wonder if there might be music. Who knows? I got to tell you about this wedding I did. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I was in Kingsburg over the weekend. So when I was first told about the gig, I was like, Kingsburg, never heard of it. Looked it up. It's about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes south of Fresno, somewhere in that area. Didn't hear about it, didn't know about it. And I was like, it's probably just going to be a little small wedding, small venue. Turns out that the venue was absolutely gorgeous. There's a little putting green. It was just a beautiful venue. I had a little photo shoot on there. Haven't gotten a chance to post the pictures on there, but we'll get to it, I promise. But I was really surprised. I feel like Shaq. You ever seen that meme where it's like, oh, forgive me, son, I was unfamiliar with your game. Well, I was unfamiliar with the way Kingsburg got down because this wedding venue, it's called the... forgive me on the name. I should have written it down, but I didn't. It's Tuscany Garden Venue, something in Kingsburg. Look it up. If you're looking to get married, you're looking to do something like that. Holy shit, this place is beautiful. One of the most beautiful venues that I had been to. It's a beautiful spot. And then here's another cool little thing. This is what I really wanted to talk about. I had never heard of mariachi do Neon Moon. They didn't do it in Spanish, but it was in English. They sang it in English, but with mariachi music. I spend most every night beneath the light of a neon moon. Oh, if you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely. Has there ever been a more singable, like sing-along song than the Neon Moon? I think of two young lovers running wild and free. I guarantee you someone in the car listening right now started singing along in their head. Maybe not out loud, but you hear that song and you're like, damn, I want to sing that when the sun goes down. What a jam. And then to hear it on the mariachi was really cool. So that was dope. Food was good. They had tacos, so that was a lot of fun. But shout out Kingsburg. Really surprised me with the type of, for a small town, I didn't expect it. That's all it was. It just came down to expectations. And what do we always talk about in this life? Life, happiness is all about expectations. Let's move on to this. I thought this was pretty funny because, so I think we can all agree for the most part that teachers and nurses, and I've argued this for years. This isn't anything new. If you've heard me for a long time, you know I've talked about this. Like, you can't even make jokes about teaching jobs. You can't even make jokes about nursing. You can't make jokes about... You make a little joke about a teaching job or don't you ever dare talk about like, hey, it must be nice to have summers off. Oh, it must be nice to have summers off. It must be nice. Man. The disrespect for teachers. No, all I said was like, it would be nice to look forward to a couple months off vacation. I still respect you. I still respect your job. I still love what you do. You guys are the greatest. But they are two of those jobs that like, hey, you better not say anything bad about nurses. You better not say anything bad about teachers. And the only thing that you should say is how teachers are underpaid and how teachers deserve more, blah, 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 blah. But I did find it interesting. And by the way, me saying that, it doesn't mean that I disagree with any of it. I'm just saying I find it interesting how like there's professions that you just can't touch. I think of other jobs and I'm like, hey, those are pretty important jobs too, but we can joke about other jobs. For some reason, we've just decided that teaching and nursing are two of those jobs that you just can't, hey, it's off limits, nothing but respect, or get the out. But today, my mouth is dry. Today, or actually this week, it's Nurse Appreciation Week. Great, fantastic. I'm sure you've seen the Chipotle deals and all that stuff. That's fantastic. But at the same time, it's also Teacher Appreciation Week, which I found that to be a little bit odd. Because I don't remember I don't know how many jobs there are actually that get an appreciation week, maybe day. But doesn't it feel like teachers and nurses are two big enough jobs, two important enough jobs to have their own week? Why do they have to steal each other's thunder? Why do they have to be the same week? It's like, hey, we want to honor teachers, but we also want to honor nurses. Give them their own week. Give them next week. How about this week is Teacher Appreciation Week? And how about next week we do Nurses Appreciation Week? Just a thought. Just a thought. Here's something that I just thought of right now. This wasn't even on the... Okay, let's play a game. This is called You Can Only Keep One. You can only keep one. It's Nurse Appreciation Week. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. You can only keep one. You can't keep both. Who are you keeping? Holy shit. Now, this is good podcasting. Because I haven't even put thought into this. Initially, what am I thinking? I'm thinking... Well, if you get rid of nurses, the Nissan Altima's right down the window, right out the window. Bald tires, Nissan Altimas. I don't know. Nurses or teachers, you can only save one. That's interesting. Well, if you get rid of nurses, there's going to be some people who die. But also, do nurses exist if there aren't teachers that teach the basic fundamentals of just... math, reading, speaking English? That's a great question. I'm sitting here thinking, if you're watching on YouTube, I just had a blank stare. I was like, damn, you can only keep one. I probably keep teachers. I just feel like, imagine trying to become a nurse and you don't know how to read. Imagine trying to become a nurse and you don't know how to count or, just basic stuff. I think it starts at teachers, right? No doubt. Nurses, we could learn stuff down the road, but you're not going to learn stuff down the road if you don't know how to count or how to read or how to follow instruction. I don't know. Teachers and nurses, that's a fun little game. People are probably going to be pissed about this. Vic, why would you do that? That was such a stupid segment. Okay. I had one more topic that I didn't write down that I just thought about. It almost as brilliant as the way that I just thought of that last one. But let's get into our, last week we brought this back. First of all, thank you so much for the response to it. It was fantastic. I knew it was going to do well. I knew I was really excited about bringing Wednesday Wisdom back. I did get some DMs to be like, why is it still called Wednesday Wisdom? The podcast drops on Thursday. It's a fair question. I wish I had a better answer for you than, I don't know. But I do like the name Wednesday Wisdom. It just kind of rolls off the tongue and it's nostalgic. But if you haven't seen our Wednesday Wisdom conversation, this one's actually very, very interesting. And I'll tell you why. Because remember what I said earlier about like, hey, honesty is the best policy. It's like we all kind of grow up and no one ever really questions it. We all just kind of think like, yeah, honesty is the best policy. You should always be honest. And absolutely, if you're a child, if you're a kid, if you're listening, hell, if you're an adult, honesty is the best policy. Be honest, be upfront. People like that. People respect it. Like it most of the time. But let's get into our Wednesday Wisdom conversation. It will be up on our social media at ICYDK first thing in the morning, so I'll schedule that in. But let's get into it. Listen to this. Hi, Vic. Can you talk about honesty in a relationship? The other night we went to dinner. And drinks with some friends. We went to. I'll cross that out. I don't know why she asked me if I could just blank it out, but we went to a pub here in town in Bakersfield, and a group of about 6 to 7 girls walked in, and my boyfriend and my friend's boyfriend looked at each other like laughing. Turns out my boyfriend used to date not one, but 2 of the girls. Okay, I mean, that happens. Turns out my boyfriend used to date 2 of the girls. He told me, this is the part where it gets good, right? Is honesty always the best policy? He told me details about those 2 relationships that I didn't really care to know because it was so long ago. I was kind of grossed out. I appreciate the honesty, but where do you draw the line with it? A simple, yeah, we talked a few years ago would have been enough. I felt that the other details were kind of unnecessary, and IDK, it made me feel icky. Am I overreacting, or should there be some limits to honesty and details about everything, in all caps? Maybe I'm actually lucky. I don't know. I hope I don't sound too crazy. Thank you. Wow. Where do we even begin? There's layers to this. And I actually love this question because, again, honesty is the best policy. We all just kind of, regurgitate that sentiment, that saying, right? Do we always think about it like, I know I've been in situations, or I've dated people or talked to people, whatever it is, and they tell you something like casually, almost something like this. But this was a little bit different because she had a visual on the 2 girls that walked in. And I'm not going to lie, the 2 girls walking in, like, dated 2 girls that just walked in, a little different. But they tell you things casually that you're just like, yeah, you know what? I didn't need to know that. I kind of, like, I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough to tell me, but I almost kind of do feel offended. I do understand the feeling of like, that's kind of icky. Didn't really need to know that. And I went on to ask her something after, but I was like, well, you don't have to get into specific details about what it was, but I think we can all kind of assume or fill in the blanks with what kind of details those were, right? So why the hell would you bring it up? And you know what it reminds me of? Like, is honesty the best policy? I don't think it's always the best policy. Fellas, if you're married and your wife puts on 7 or 8 pounds over, a couple weeks, and she puts on a dress that she used to look fantastic on because it fit perfectly, but now 7, 8 pounds later, doesn't really fit as good. Are you suddenly going to tell her, like, dang, you put on some weight, didn't you? No. But why wouldn't you? Hey, honesty's the best policy, right? You want honesty, but there's things that you could leave out that you don't need to say all the time. There's things that you don't need to be honest about. Honesty is the best policy is like the greatest like saying, and everybody just falls behind it. But I don't know. I do feel like there are certain things that you don't need to bring up. There are certain things that you don't necessarily need to tell your partner, because I do feel like you could bring up insecurities that didn't necessarily exist, could now potentially exist. Like all the, hey, I never even thought that was a possibility, but holy shit, now that you're telling me this, now it's like opening up a whole can of worms. It's like, well, if he did that, well, what else did he do? Well, then who else was he with? Well, who else was he trying this and that with? Maybe, and let me flip it around. So honesty, I don't necessarily agree with honesty is the best policy always. I don't. Sometimes I think there's things that you could leave out. Are you going to walk up to your boss and be like, hey, that decision you made last week is stupid, and it turns out that it was, and be like, hey, I'm being honest. Hey, I'm being honest here. No, there's a lot of things that there's a fine line between honesty and rude. And sometimes they kind of cross over because honesty means you're being honest, but it's also something rude. I think you got to be the gauge of that. So to put everything under the umbrella of honesty is the best policy, not necessarily. But here's what I will say to your point in defense of him. I think maybe you're looking at this through the wrong lens. Maybe we can take a step back. And yeah, it's uncomfortable that he told you this, but do you feel like your relationship, in other words, where are you now? A few weeks, a few days, a few months. I don't know how far removed this incident exactly happened. And it sounds like you guys are still together. I saw the pictures. You guys are still together. But where did your relationship go? Initially, I understand the feeling icky. It's like, well, there's a girl that he was with in the past and they did blah, blah, blah. In fact, there's 2 girls that he was in the past. So I understand that icky feeling. But where do you go after that? Do you feel more confident in your relationship? I feel like that could be something that strengthens your relationship. I think you need to pay attention to where it goes after the initial ick. Nobody's going to blame you for feeling icky. Get over that. But once you do get over it, do you now feel like, hey, there's nothing that he won't tell me? There's nothing that he won't be honest about? And here's the other part. Can I say this? Fellas, I'm sorry if I'm giving away too many secrets here. I don't think we do it on purpose. But guys are stupid sometimes. Sometimes we'll tell you something, and I can almost guarantee you, like in his head, he's like, she's going to love that I'm honest with her. She's going to love that I'm telling her the truth about everything. And in his head, he said it with the best intentions, where he was like, she's going to love me because I'm being honest about this, and she's going to feel so comfortable because I didn't deny any information, blah, 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 blah. So your guy could have just been, it could have been coming from the best intentions. So pay attention and know that. And I do think, because if he was being that honest, if he was being that genuine about something like that, he probably thought it was like, you know what, this is so old, this is so long ago, I didn't even care. It means nothing to me. And I hope that it means nothing to you, because I'm honestly just openly telling you about this. I don't know. I think this is fascinating, because I will say this. Although I'm giving my final Wednesday wisdom on this, I'm open to hear lots of thoughts and feelings on this. Feel free to hit us up. Again, at ILYSayItBackPod. I understand women that would hate it and men who would hate it. Be like, babe, why did you? Okay, you could have just told me, hey, we dated a few years ago. And if I have any further questions, I'll ask, but for you to just openly be like, yeah, and then we tried this, and then we did the whatever it was that he told you extra that you didn't really care for, I feel like I could understand why that would feel like why the hell did you tell me that? There was no need for me to know that. If it was 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, before you knew me, it doesn't matter. Like, are you trying to prove a point? You got something, I don't know. I think this is fascinating. Honesty is not always the best policy. I don't think so. But I also think of where you are in your relationship after he told you that, after you felt icky, and where are you now. I feel like, in a way, this could be something that ultimately strengthens your relationship. And maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. You're still together. You wrote into the podcast to talk about this. So that is your final Wednesday wisdom. Victi has spoken. Let us know what you think. I think that one's got, speaking of, it's like sourdough bread. It's got layers to it. We can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. And that's really what all of these like Wednesday wisdom conversations come down to, right? It's always like, I can tell you something, but there's so many layers to everything. There's not one correct answer to any of this. I could have a girl tell me something and be like, yeah, it came from a bad place. She wanted to tell me to make me feel insecure. She wanted to tell me to make me feel some type of way about this. And then there's idiot guys who are just like, we were at a college party and, I wanted to try something a little new and freaky. And it's just like, and then he's like all hype. He's like, yeah, it was a long time ago, nothing of it. No bad intentions behind it. So again, everything goes back to it. I don't necessarily think that honesty is the best policy always. Let's see, what else do we got here? I feel like this show is kind of flown by. Are we ready to get into our trivia? Oh, Met Gala. Met Gala. Okay, I just wanted to bring up a quick little note on the Met Gala. If you're wondering about this, like no one knows what the hell goes on at the Met Gala. What is the Met Gala? Why are the only thing I knew is that it happens like 1 week a year. It's celebrities, it's rich people, it's probably some Illuminati shit that I'm actually kind of glad I don't know anything about it. But I looked it up, and just so we're on the same basic level. The Met Gala is an annual fund. So it turns out it's a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser gala for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute in New York. So it's a fundraiser to raise money for them. And then it says the primary purpose of the Met Gala is to support money for the Costume Institute, which supports the museum's fashion and textile collections, which is cool. But I'm like, how the hell did it become so big? I could start one. I think we have some fashion stuff here in Bakersfield. I'm like, all right, cool. We're all going to dress up one night and we're all going to do this, and that. It's like, when the hell did it go from, hey, that's a really cool thing that you guys are involved with, to now it's like the Met Gala? Probably a lot of it has to do with because it's New York. But I know for years I was wondering, I was like, what the hell is the Met Gala? What do they do? You never see any videos from inside of the Met Gala. All you ever saw was people walking on I don't know if it's a red carpet or whatever, as they're walking in, these extravagant suits, these extravagant outfits, accessories. It was crazy. I had no idea what the hell the Met Gala was. So if you were on the same boat as I am, now we know. All right, let's wrap up today's show with a little trivia. All right, here's your question. As always, if you're new here, trivia goes like this. I'm going to read you the question, and you could pause. You could take your time. I'll repeat the question once or twice, and then I'll give you the answer. So if you want some more time to think about it or to discuss amongst the people in your car, feel free. Let's get into it. Survey shows that this is the most common thing left behind at restaurants. A new survey shows that this is the most common thing left behind at restaurants. What is it? I know this is facts because you could tell me, like, Vic, $1 million for you not to forget this, and I'll forget it still. All right, survey shows that this is the most common thing left behind at restaurants. Leftovers. One, I hate taking leftovers home. Two, it never tastes the same, so there's one. Two, I never have any. I always eat everything. But when I do get it, I always forget that, like, I'm like, all right, here's my keys, here's my wallet, here's my cell phone, and then I always forget the damn leftovers, but there you go. Let's do one bonus one because it's Teacher Appreciation Week. I'll do one for teachers. Teachers, this one's for you. Which, by the way, let's bury the hatchet. I love you. You guys are fantastic. This one's for teachers. So teachers say this happens more on Monday than any other day of the week. Teachers say this is most likely to happen on Monday more than any other day of the week. What is it? Kind of similar to the leftovers answers. Students forgetting their lunch. Teachers say that this is the most likely day for this to happen is on Monday. Students forget their lunch after the weekend. So there you go. That's our show. Let us know what you think of our Wednesday Wisdom Conversations. Again, I'm open to listening to all of it. Moms, mothers, happy Mother's Day. We love you. You're appreciated. I know sometimes you just want to feel like you did a good job. You want to hear it. You want to feel it. On behalf of anybody who's been a part of this I Love You Say It Back podcast, myself, my mom, she has been, and I've talked about this before. My mom doesn't really understand much about, like, I mean, she does now, but like when I first started, I was like, I'm doing a podcast. She's like, ¿qué es eso? She didn't understand much about podcasting or YouTube or broadcasting in this way or anything. Like, didn't really care for it. Never really, made sense, whatever. But she had full faith that I was going to be able to do this and figure this out. And that's kind of the beauty of what moms provide to us, right? She didn't question it. She didn't doubt it. She didn't, And I think that has catapulted me into continuing and believing in this whole thing. It's like, so moms, if you think that your words don't carry weight with your kids, with your sons, your daughters, the belief that you instill in them, even though you don't understand it, it goes a long way. So I hope that you feel appreciated and you feel loved. And today, if you want to get away from the damn kids, tell your husband to get you a hotel. Go get you a hotel. Drop off the kids with grandma and grandpa. Go get you a hotel. Spend all day eating Pringles and watching Netflix if that's what you want to do. Go get your favorite food, eat junk food, whatever it is. I just wish you a very happy Mother's Day. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening and being part of the show. A lot of moms. I talked about it before. 83% of our listener base, females, a lot of moms. So thank you guys so much for that. Listening, tell your friends, tell everybody, like, subscribe, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to your podcast. We're on YouTube. Follow us on socials at ILY Say It Back Pod. Y'all have a great night. Sleep good. I love you. Say it back. Let's get funky, baby. See you.